All right, well, my colleague here at Sky News, our political reporter for The People, has penned a rather interesting piece in one of Australia's most well-read newspapers. That's Sydney's Daily Telegraph. I'm talking about Caroline Marcus. She joins me now live from our Sky News studios. Thanks very much for your company. I'm keen to talk about some of the issues that you've looked at in this piece. The headline reading, "Gay marriage activists are pushing many like me to the no column." Are you suggesting, Caroline, that you might vote no on this plebiscite or survey or whatever it is when you want to vote yes because of activism amongst same-sex marriage advocates?
No, what I'm suggesting, Peter, and what I've actually written in the column is that many people like me who would vote yes would be thinking about now changing their vote because of some of the tactics of those on the Yes campaign. Not all the Yes campaigners. There have been plenty of people who have done it very well, but there's others who insist on labelling everyone who might have a different opinion to them as bigots without first listening to why they might not agree with the proposition of same-sex marriage. And those are the people that I'm talking about.
OK, so you will vote yes?
Well, I can't vote in the election, Peter, so they don't have to worry about getting my vote. I'm not an enrolled...
If you could, you would?
Well, at this point, I am undecided, to be honest. I would have said yes, and I do want to support my gay friends who want to get married because I believe that that should be an option that's open to them. The only concern that I would have, which is what I've raised in the column, is that I'd be concerned about it being the right way to bring up all children, but I accept that for the gay couples I know who do bring up children, they do a wonderful job, that you can't make these decisions just based on averages, and that there are plenty of same-sex married couples who do a terrible job, who I've come across it as well. But I think there are valid reasons and facts that people are basing their decision either to sit on the fence. We know about 13% of people, according to the polls, still sitting on the fence, and about 1 in 4 people, according to those same polls, who would vote no, do have their own reasons. Some of them are stupid reasons, I agree, but there are some valid reasons as well. Now, because gay couples can already raise children, that wouldn't be a huge issue for me. But if I was to vote in the ballot, I'd like to see how this campaign finishes.
So can I ask, I mean, I don't think that people that want to vote yes would necessarily change their vote to no, whatever the campaign of activism being run.
Well, I don't think that you're listening to what people out there are saying. I'm the political reporter for The People, remember, Peter. I've been listening to the people, and this is what a lot of people are saying to me, not just in person, but online. And I have to say, a lot of gay people I know, gay friends, gay colleagues, have said the same thing to me. They're concerned that people they know will change their minds because of some of the extremes on the activist side. Okay. They're concerned themselves.
Okay, I can accept that you've had that anecdotal evidence of people you've spoken to, but I just have a higher regard for the Australian people. I don't think people that want to see gay couples marry would, out of spite or callowness, decide to vote no just because of a campaign.
But it's not spite. I think that you're misreading what I'm trying to get across, is that it's not spite. People don't like to be told what to do. As soon as they get called bigots for not thinking the same way as everyone else, and it does become a campaign on things like freedom of speech, political correctness, which I know a lot of people on the Yes campaign don't want it to be. They disagree very much with Tony Abbott saying that this is what it's about, but yet activists on that side are making it about this. They're making it about you're not free to have a different opinion. We're not even going to listen to what you're going to say. We're going to call you a bigot. We're going to call you a bully just because you might not be convinced. Now, as recently as a few years ago, Penny Wong took the position in Parliament that marriage should be between a man and a woman. Now, I know there were political reasons for her doing that, but even as a gay woman herself who has children, who has a family, she couldn't stand up publicly and say that she believes in this. So what is there to believe that people out there who are conservative, who've lived respect that the tradition of marriage has for thousands of years, being between a man and a woman, will just change their mind so easily, especially if they're being bullied into it? And that is the point I'm trying to make.
I noticed that you had a go at a few different people in your column, one of which was the ABC presenter Emma Alberici. I had a bit of a look through her Twitter feed. I couldn't actually find an example of her advocating a yes or a no vote.
Well, I provided examples there of how she only presented one side of it, and she has a crack at people who pick her up on certain things. So there was obviously, and I did a story on it last week in Sky News, after the ABC came out with their second warning in the space of a year, I discovered. Their second warning to all staff, including they specified senior presenters especially, which would include Emma Alberici, that they stop being campaigners for one side or the other of the issue, although let's be honest, how many people from the ABC are campaigning for the other side? They said that they have a charter for impartiality. It's a different media organisation. All our taxpayer dollars go towards it. When it comes to government policy, they should be fair and balanced. But Emma Alberici does things like go on to Lateline and start her introduction to an interview with Matthias Cormann by saying she knows of a friend of her daughter's who was kicked out of home at 15 for being gay, and then starts having a go at him over the bickering in the parliament, like the two things are related. I'm sorry, I do not see the correlation, and many people out there agree with me that one thing has to do with another. Do you really suggest that introducing same-sex marriage is going to make people who are so homophobic that they can't accept their own children, make them suddenly accept their own children? It just doesn't make any sense, that argument.
But don't you think, I mean, my point, which I'm guessing was hers from that interview, I saw it as well, I think the point was just that if same-sex marriage is legalised, that will have a flow-on effect that will make life easier for gay children, or children that are realising that they're gay, younger people in their teens. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
No, I don't necessarily agree with that. And there are some studies that have shown out of Sweden, for example, which have had gay marriage for a long time. Swedish study, I'm not sure where the study is. It's quoted by this group of doctors from the Australian Medical Organisation who are challenging this statement that's been put out. But there was a study on gay people in Sweden, and they've had same-sex marriage for a really long time, and they still find that the suicide rate among married gay men is far higher than among straight men who are married to women. So it doesn't tell you that the suicide rate necessarily correlates. Now, that's not to say I don't accept that there are very young, vulnerable gay people. A lot of my friends who are gay struggled very much when they came out, and I honestly would hate to think anything that I say would be harmful to those people, but I still think that a debate is necessary. We can't not have a debate because we're afraid of offending people. I think that's a very dangerous precedent to set. Now,
well, I couldn't agree more on that. Let me ask you, do you feel offended, though, about this debate? I noticed that the former Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, weighed in on Twitter and congratulated you on standing up to bullies. Do you feel like you've been bullied in this debate?
I think that today I have been on Twitter, to be quite frank. I think Emma Alberici has come out and made a bunch of comments which are not true. She says that I've said myself that I'll be voting no. Well, I didn't, and I've cleared the record here. I can't even vote, but that's not what I said in my column. And I went on to defend a number of claims.
Can I just check on that? Because I made the same... Can I just check? Sorry to jump in, because I made the same mistake. I thought when you said activists are almost sure to push many like me into the negative column, that you meant that you may well vote no. I get that you can't vote, but a moment ago you made the point that you're undecided still to some extent because you want to see how the campaign goes.
Exactly. If I could vote, I would be undecided at this point. I think I would end up... I don't know what I would do. It would be a hypothetical situation, but I just hate to see this sort of campaign rewarded if it's going to depend on bullying people into their decision. Now, I think, and I've made this point in my column, that this is a really similar road that we've seen with Brexit and Trump. A lot of the votes do end up being rebel votes where it's a vote of dissent. We're unhappy with the way that it's been maybe pushed onto people. I still think that it will be successful. But Peter, I think it was you that told me yesterday that the odds have actually lengthened on same-sex marriage. So that would perhaps support the argument that I'm trying to make, that the betting companies have actually lengthened their odds and are saying that it's now not quite as likely to go through, which is interesting. I do think that this column wasn't supposed to be about me. I talked about my personal support because I wanted to make the point clear that I'm coming from the point of view where I'm not opposed to same-sex marriage, that I love my gay friends dearly and I do want to see them happy. It's just that I'm trying to make the point, not all the people who are opposed to it are bigots. Most of them aren't. They have valid reasons that they strongly believe in for why they're opposed to it. And I don't think it's fair for people like Emma Alberucci to come out today and start a Twitter pylon with me. She's called me a bully now for defending myself against some of the things she said. It's just getting ridiculous. Like, how am I being a bully in my article by saying that there are some people who are not bullies and bigots when they say that they're thinking about no or they're undecided?
Caroline, appreciate you coming on to discuss the article. It's in the Daily Telegraph today. Thanks for your company.
Always. Thanks, Peter.